Catfishing aside, you don't attract who you are. The bait you use determines the catch you get. She's a catch. Men say that like it's admiration. And it is, but it's also distance. Whoever she marries is lucky. That's the release. You didn't lose her. You let her go. And not because she was wrong, but because she was serious. Some men are fishing for covenant. You're fishing for validation. Luke 5 verse 4 says, "Put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch." Plural. They cast a net. Singular. Partial obedience still brought abundance, and it broke what they were using. Weary men, all night, no results. More depth? Some of you are tired. Apps, church circles, introductions, nothing sticks. So when a woman shows up who's emotionally healthy, clear, aligned, you don't lean in, you lean back. Not because she's too much, but because she's too focused. And you feel the gap. You're not throwing back fish because you don't want them. You're throwing them back because you don't feel ready for them. And before we talk about fish, we need to talk about the pan. Some might say men are in it for sport. Catch and release. Let's talk about sport fishing. There's nothing wrong with it. You cast, you catch, you admire, you take the photo, and you release. No harm done, unless you apply that mindset to women. She's a catch. Whoever she marries is lucky. Admiration, then distance. That's the release. You don't lose high caliber women. You release them. Sport fishing is ego safe. Covenant isn't. Sport fishing requires excitement. Covenant requires expansion. Sport fishing requires charm. Covenant requires decisions, deadlines, conversations you can't ghost. When you say she's a lot, sometimes what you mean is she expects leadership, and the leadership costs something. Time blocks, money plans, forward movement. You don't fade because she's wrong. You fade because she's moving. You didn't discern your way out of connection. You delayed your way out. You're not afraid of her. You're afraid of the version of you she requires. That's not insult. That's inventory. She is a catch, but a catch requires stewardship. And stewardship exposes capacity. Admiration doesn't require infrastructure. Covenant does. Sport fishing celebrates the moment. Covenant builds the future. You don't release her because she lacks value. You release her because she tightens your timeline. Marriage talk, family talk, future talk. You protect what you're not ready to expand. Does a small pan cook a big catch? Pan thinking. A builder was talking about a fisherman in a voiceover video of men working on a construction site. He tells the story of a man making a big catch and then throwing it back. Then another big catch and throws it back. Curious, another man asks, "Why are you throwing back the big fish and keeping the small?" The fisherman responds, "Because I only have an 8-inch pan." Let me take you into the kitchen for a minute. You've got a beautiful piece of fish on the counter. Fresh, strong, high quality. You didn't force it. You didn't fake it. You didn't manipulate it. It showed up. You're excited until you reach for the pan. 8 inches. Now the fish isn't the problem. The stove isn't the problem. The capacity is. Now I know what you're thinking. Just cut it to fit. Convenient. That fisherman didn't throw the fish back because it was bad. He threw it back because it won't fit. That's pan thinking. She's too much. Is she? Or is she larger than what you built space for? Clarity can feel like pressure, and expectations like exposure. It's momentum careening toward a deadline. and your nervous system spikes, not because you lack desire, but because you lack preparation. This isn't laziness, it's bandwidth. 8-inch energy sounds spiritual sometimes. Let's pray about it. Sounds wise, unless it's delay in disguise. You hesitate because she accelerates timeline. Future Tab compresses optionality, and you like options. That's not immaturity. That's denied load bearing. Capacity isn't cookware. It's what you can carry without collapsing. 8-inch pan energy is not about income, and it's not about size. We're not talking about getting a bigger pan. We're talking about something more expansive than cookware. Luke 5 says the nets began to break, not before obedience, after it. The strain showed up in monotonous repetition. Nope, go again. And the gap revealed itself. You don't always feel ready for the catch. Sometimes the catch exposes what needs retrofitting. You're not overwhelmed by her expectations. You're overwhelmed by the version of you required to sustain them. Condemnation? No. Information? Loading. When capacity increases, something shifts. Direct questions don't spike your nervous system or tripwire alarms. Momentum feels appropriate. You don't cut the fish, you strengthen the frame. And when the frame strengthens, the conversation moves from the kitchen to the ocean. Breakneck expansion. The fisherman who throws back the big fish because his pan's too small isn't foolish. He's past due for an upgrade. Big fish don't overwhelm capable systems. They overwhelm undefined ones. Nets break. When opportunity arrives, it's not intended to flatter you. It's a face-off to test you. Answers to prayer don't always feel like celebration. Sometimes they feel like exposure. Luke 5 writes that they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. That detail isn't for dramatic effect. It's diagnostic. The blessing revealed the strain. As Myron Golden puts it, your time is going to come whether you prepare or not. If you're prepared when your time comes, it will reveal you. If you're not prepared, it will expose you. Desire for marriage, children, legacy, that's not leisure. That's load bearing. The prerequisite is expansion before possession. When the net breaking happened, they didn't downsize the catch. They signaled other boats. That requires humility. Men who are sinking pretend they're fine. Men who are building call for reinforcements. You don't need a smaller ocean. You need stronger company. Growth tests systems before it rewards effort. More will reveal or expose preparation. Expansion attracts attention. Precision builds covenant. Let me make this personal. I'm in a conversation with a super force multiplier business coach, and I confess, I instinctively pulled back, searching for a more comfortable approach. He's talking tech bro, founder, operator lingo, and I'm feeling like I don't speak CEO tech bro. Bro, he's deep sea thinking. Big boats, big waves, big catch, growth engines, bigger distribution, expanded infrastructure. Something in me feels exposed. You've felt that before. You hear someone operating with an expanded capacity, and internally you think, I only have an 8-inch pan. I know what you're thinking. Nobody's mad at freshwater fishing. It's calm, predictable, contained. I mean, you're wearing a bib. The interweb says it like this. Freshwater fishing gear is lightweight, sensitive, and designed for smaller fish, while deep sea saltwater gear is heavy duty, corrosion resistant, and built for massive, powerful fish. Saltwater equipment features sealed reels and stainless steel components to withstand ocean salt, whereas freshwater tackle focuses on finesse and portability. Leisure is a one-man sport. The lightweight rod, the quiet lake, and optional outcome. Depth is different. Depth demands equipment that doesn't corrode under pressure. Salt water exposes weak metal. It rusts what isn't sealed. It stresses what isn't built to endure. We're called to be salt and light, not salt and portable. Freshwater is lightweight, predictable, manageable, and desirable. Depth requires heavy duty, corrosion resistance, and built for massive power. Jesus said, "Let down your nets." Simon Peter gave it one, and it broke. Catch this. Partial obedience still produced overwhelming provision, but it required proximity. Other boats, shared strain, and collective weight. This is why Kingdom Singles brand exists. Expansion matters. Depth requires stainless steel community, not just in tools, but in perspective. It's counsel that won't bend, won't corrode, and character that resists rust under pressure. Responsibility will reveal where your structure bends long before it rewards you with ease. This is the adversity that introduces you to yourself. Breakneck capacity isn't about volume, it's durability. When you've reached a breaking point, you're in the right place because exposure is revelation and invitation. Community begs the question, the hard ones that you neglected. It reveals the maturity you opted out of because you like options. Force multipliers reveal breakneck capacity. The weight doesn't apologize for net breaking. It says, "You're welcome." One fish precision. Net breaking seasons are rare, but obvious. Expansion is noticeable, a public spectacle. Expansion tests a man in public. Precision tests him in private. In Matthew 17, verse 27, Jesus responds to Peter before the question was even asked. Go to the sea, cast a line, take the fish, and open its mouth. The first fish he catches would have a coin in its mouth, enough to pay the temple tax for both of them. One man, one instruction, one provision, paid for two. No crowds or nets this time. And without the chaos and attention of scale, just one man in quiet waters, armed with obedience. That detail isn't for dramatic effect. It's precise, intimate, and even diagnostic. One catch, paid for two. Did you catch the miracle moment? The catch is the man who can pay for two. If we were to cast a line in your direction and we opened your mouth, what would we find? Paid for one or paid for two? I know what you're thinking. Of course I could pay for two. But you're thinking dinner reservation, mortgage payment, school tuition, insurance, a larger home, because you've built that kind of stability, not financially, structurally. Paying for two is not just funding a lifestyle, it's carrying weight, emotional steadiness when she's overwhelmed and you don't withdraw, shared decision making when you're used to moving fast and alone, calendar compression when your evenings are no longer entirely yours, financial transparency when optimization becomes collaboration, physical space that no longer revolves around your preferences, habit adjustment, pace adjustment, priority adjustment, the ability to absorb pressure without shrinking or resenting the shift. That's what paid for two means. You've built everything except covenant. You've built a career and stability, and you carry responsibility. You help siblings when they need margin, show up for aging parents, and you don't see it as a burden. You invested in therapy, coaching, healing, becoming, and even mentoring others. You're disciplined and coachable. You've optimized your life, but you optimized for control, calendar control, emotional and financial control, and outcome control. That discipline made you successful. It made you respected, eligible. Independence makes you eligible. You're not chaotic or drifting. You're not reckless. You've proven that you can manage yourself. That's adulthood. Eligibility means you can sustain one. Marriageability means you can sustain two. An eligible man values autonomy and independence. His life is built for one. A marriageable man values interdependence. His life is building for two. When a godly man is built for two, he goes first, first to sacrifice, and first to submit. And she gets to follow his lead. That includes strength, surrender, and self-control. Independence builds the life you have. Interdependence builds toward the godly family you want. This is where the cost is visible. You didn't postpone marriage because you lacked desire. You postponed it because independence was effective. Too effective. It was efficient, predictable, productive. It rewarded your discipline. It protected your systems. It preserved your control. You achieved mastery. And now Covenant is asking if you can master integration. Eligibility builds stability. Marriageability carries weight. If you were the catch and we opened your mouth, would we find provision for one or capacity for two? Your personal trainer doesn't reduce weight to make you feel comfortable. His job is to increase your capacity to bear it. He stands behind you and says, one more, not to break you, to build you. And you paid for him too. Covenant marriage is not lightweight. It's more, much more. It's multiplication in the most kingdom way possible. If you're feeling defensive, that's data. If you're feeling quiet, measured, and recalibrating, you're closer than you think. But you go first, armed with obedience, training for covenant and multiplication mastery, increasing your capacity, because scale exposes you, but precision refines you. Now let's bring this all together using the past framework: problem, agitation, solution. Your problem? You've mistaken volume for progress. You're either casting too wide without vision or not casting at all. You've built a life optimized for independence, not interdependence. You've optimized for control, not for covenant integration. Your agitation? Abundance feels intimidating and conversations stall. You keep feeling the almost, but not making progress. Covenant feels like a great idea until it threatens your comfort. Every year is optimized for one and postponed for two. Connection is desirable, but it also feels disruptive. Your solution? Fish with faith, not validation. Increase your load-bearing capacity before pursuing covenant. Train for emotional endurance and shared decision-making. Train for interdependence without losing masculine backbone. Build for two before two arrives. Your desired future isn't measured by pans or boats. Expansion gives you stronger company, but precision will give you stronger clarity. And that clarity comes when you stop postponing what you say you want. Because desire without decision is just delay with a spiritual accent. Are you as eligible or marriageable as you think you are? Know for sure. Take your 9-question assessment now. You go first. Watch this video next. Pursuing or securing her? Good men think they're pursuing, but you're not securing. Effort can look like leadership, right up until clarity doesn't show up. Some men stay active, attentive, and involved while quietly avoiding the one thing that creates safety. Taking it slow can sound wise until you realize nothing is actually moving forward. For kingdom folk, there's sacred language that can mask ambiguity. It can sound or even look responsible. The temptation isn't just for intimacy, it's for distance too. Why? Because distance feels lighter than decision. Tune in again for marriageable insights. I'm Rowena Rodriguez, your marriageability guide. Because many are eligible, but few are marriageable. Until next time, be encouraged. You're not single by accident. Your singleness is not happening to you, it's happening for you.